Hey guys and girls, it's Panabum, and tonight we're reading some real horror stories. Real in the sense that it was actually reported by the news. Terrifying stories that I think will keep you up at night. And this has been not sponsored. I just went to Esquire and they've got a webpage that actually details this. So let's just jump straight in. 8 terrifying but true horror stories reported in the news. A deadly exorcism in August 2016 in London. 26-year-old Kennedy Ilf began acting strange and aggressive following a pain in his throat. Maybe the guy's just a little bit sick, you know, has a bit of scratchy throat and he's like, oh, I got the man flu, can't do this, I can't do it. He reportedly bit his father, threatened to cut off his own penis, and complained of a python or snake inside of him before his family restrained him to a bed with cable ties and excessive force. Okay then. That escalated way too quickly. From sore throat, oh, got a sore throat, to biting his dad, cutting his own penis off. Jesus, woo! Okay, as the BBC reported, the family then set out attempting to cure Kennedy through restraints and prayer over the next 3 days. The court was told. His brother Colin Ilf told police, "It's clear that thing was in him. What we believe was a demon because it was not natural. It was trying to kill him," he said. Well, come on, like, I don't know, it looks like your brother has schizophrenia or something, some sort of delusion obviously, but buying into it and telling it to him, it's gonna make him go more crazy. I would think so. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything. We had to restrain him for himself. It wasn't clear if we didn't restrain, or it was clear that we didn't restrain him. He could have tried to harm people in our family. I mean, he's having an episode. Kennedy Eve had been bound to his bed for 3 days without medical attention when his brother called emergency services, explained that Kennedy Eve was complaining of dehydration. He appeared to have developed breathing issues and was pronounced dead at 10:17 a.m. Oh, poor bugger. He just needed the help. Oh, these are actually horror stories then, you know. It's not really ghost stories. I don't know if I want to continue. Anyways, I'll continue. As the Independent reported, while police were at the house, Colin Ilf allegedly carried out an attempted resurrection by chanting and praying for Mr. Ilf. All 7 of Kennedy Ilf's family members were accused of manslaughter, false imprisonment, and causing or allowing the death of a vulnerable adult. A post-mortem examination revealed over 20 wounds, including a possible bite on Kennedy Ilf's body, and his father, Kenneth Ilf, along with 4 of his brothers sustained injuries as well. Oh gosh. Kennedy Ilf told juror he ordered his son to take shifts and use overwhelming force, but denied that an association with occults, and secret society played any part in his death. After a 4-day jury deliberation, all 7 members were cleared of charges. Wow! And this actually happened recently, March 14, 2019. This actually happened really recently. This is too real life for me. I don't like it that much, so I'm gonna try to find some ghost stories that kind of could be fake, or at the bare minimum doesn't tie into real life, so bear with me. Real life chilling ghost stories. Hopefully it is less intense than the previous one, because it was just too much for me. I realized I don't want to touch in topics that is too close to reality. So let's jump into this one. The Little Hands. I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen, so you have to take her word for it obviously. Other houses on the street and strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a man and his family. One night, one of his daughters went to bed with a bad headache. The next day she was dead. She passed away from an aneurysm. What does that mean? What's an aneurysm? An aneurysm is an outward bulging. Oh, I understand. Okay, the blood vessel popped somewhere and caused her to die. After the funeral, the family went to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on their pets. My mom and dad, they were dating then, went with my uncle. My mother had heard there was a grand piano, she wanted to play it, and my dad was studying to a veterinarian. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. Ooh, it's starting to creep me out. She thought it was a cat that must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing and she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs and grabbed them lightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and father, and waited for them. When they all walked outside, my uncle could tell my mum was rattled and asked what was wrong. She told him what had happened and she turned white. He told her daughter, who died, used to play a game with her father. When he played the piano, she crawled underneath, grabbed his ankle and pushed his feet up and down on the pedals. Oh, that is creepy as heck. Oh, I don't care if that's real or not. That's creepy, damn. I don't know what you think. Oh, chills down my spine everywhere. I got a huge puffer jacket today because it's so damn cold in Australia. It's like middle of winter right now. The unseen patient. The ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance, Rig 12. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock in paranormal stuff, that is, until I had my own experience with Rig 12. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 AM. It was pitch dark and completely quiet. We were both dozing. I was in the driver's seat and she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to a muffled voice and I thought my partner was talking. I told her I was trying to sleep and closed my eyes. I distinctly heard a male voice say, "Oh my god, am I dying? Oh my god, am I dying?" Followed by a second of heavy breathing. My partner and I sat up and looked back into the patient's compartment, where it sounded like the voice had come from. Things were quiet for a couple of seconds. Then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss as if it was leaking. I turned on the lights and we ran out of the rig. I thought a transient might have climbed in while we were asleep, so we opened the rear doors. No one was there. I checked the oxygen bottles. Neither was open. We didn't sleep much after that. I don't know. I mean, compared to the first one was creepy as heck. This one, meh. The impish ghost. My neighbor Diane and I had a play for poltergeist for years, and we call it Billy. I'd come home and find something put in a weird place. Milk in a cupboard, toilet paper in the fridge, laundry detergent in the bathtub. Diane was once called to ask if Billy had been around because she couldn't find a gallon of milk. We finally found it outside on her back steps. And sugar, Diane's sugar. Every morning my sugar bowl was empty. When I had enough, I'd point to Diane's home and yell, "Go see Diane." Within minutes, I'll get a call from her and she would say thanks a lot because he's gone and put some shenanigans at her place. This occurred for the entire 2 years we lived there. No one believed us, not even our husbands. I'm finding it hard to believe as I read this too, I'm gonna be honest. My mother thought someone was stealing from us when we were sleeping or out of the house. My sister believed something was going on but didn't know what. I still can't explain any of it. Is there a lot of people in this house? Maybe your sister's playing a prank on you. It's quite easily explained, I guess. The eerie attic. It seems so cliche to start by saying I don't believe in ghosts, but however, there's where I'm coming from. A few years ago, I moved into a one-bedroom apartment in Melbourne, Australia. Hey, sexy lady! It's my hometown. Australia, at least, not Melbourne. I live in Sydney. It was my first time living on my own. The apartment block had been built in the 1930s. I'd been there for a few months when I came home from work one day and went to the bathroom. I saw something strange. The wooden board covering a hole in the ceiling had led to a small attic space laid broken in two pieces in the ground. I examined the broken pieces. The board was an inch thick. It would have taken a Bruce Lee to break it. An inch is pretty thick. I don't think Bruce Lee can break a board that's an inch thick. I thought the landlord had sent someone to work on the attic. I was frozen stiff with fear. I thought someone is up there for sure. I emailed pictures to the landlord asking if anyone had been there, with an undertone of annoyance since she hadn't warned me. Her reply read, "Please call me as soon as you are able to." I called, and she explained that her last two tenants had said the same thing happened. She promised to replace the board, and she did. A month later, I woke up one night at 4 AM. I had so many goosebumps. It felt like someone was rubbing his or her hand on me. Okay, that's creepy and disturbing. You don't get goosebumps by people rubbing it. Anyways, everything was silent. But then I heard this sound coming from above my head. It was a dragging sound, like someone pulled a sack of potatoes. I was frozen stiff with fear. I thought someone is up there for sure. There is no way an animal could make that sound. After 5 minutes, I managed to work up the courage to turn on the lights and walk to the bathroom. I was armed with a cricket bat. When I looked, I saw that the new board covering the hole was broken in two. I felt sick. The dragging sound had stopped, but I heard something else, whispering. Oh, the creepiness comes. Ooh, chills, mate. The sound was clearer and coming from the attic. It sounded like children's voices. I could hear one sentence repeat over and over. "It's your turn. It's your turn." I switched on everything in the apartment to make things feel normal. It was 5 AM, dark outside. I watched TV to try to unwind. Then a fuse blew. My pet budgie, Dexter, whom I kept in the kitchen, usually never made a sound at night, but he started squawking like he was being strangled. I never heard him make those sort of sound noise. He was screaming. I grabbed my car keys, ran out, sat in my car and waited there until the sun came out. Good idea. Hey, that is the first time I've heard someone do the right thing when some creepy shit happening in your house. The next thing you need to do is get the out of there. And you need to sell that house, you need to burn it down, I don't know, like just exercise it, leave, never come back. Simple as that. When I saw people walking their dogs, this comforted me enough to go back in. The front door was open, but I thought I closed it when I ran out. When I went to the kitchen to check on Dexter, he wasn't in his cage. I felt sick again. Oh no. Don't hurt animals, bro. Don't hurt birds. Don't hurt anything. All my windows were closed, so I looked everywhere inside. When I walked to the bathroom, I heard splashing. Dexter was half drowned in the toilet. I took him out, washed him, and dried him. I was so confused. At 8 AM, I called the landlord, gave her a watered down version of the night. Oh wow, you heard the whispering too, she said. I stayed in the apartment for another 18 months. Okay, now that doesn't make any sense. All this happened to the point where you left the house and you stayed, and the landlord said, oh, you heard the whispering too, and you stayed there for another 18 months? What the hell is wrong with you? That is when you tell the landlord, okay, you SOB never told me that it was haunted. I want my money back. I want my the bond back. I'm getting the hell out of here. You can find yourself another tenant. I'll bloody sue her ass. I heard the whispering on a few occasions, and twice the board covering the hole in the ceiling moved. Although I lived elsewhere, the landlord recently called. She said that her new tenant had begged to speak with me about some of the stuff that's been going on there. Forget it, it's their problem now. But that's true. Oh, this picture's creepy. The boys with no eyes. Oh, even the title is creepy. I don't want to look at the photo. One night when I was 10, I woke up by my bedroom door opening, followed by someone sitting on my bed. Dude, that's enough. Just that sentence is enough. And that's the whole story. That's creepy enough. It's one of those one sentence horror stories. I felt my leg grazed and the bed sink under a person's weight. Thinking it was my mum, I opened my eyes to see an eyeless boy. The boy without eyes. I could have sworn there was a man with the black eyes. That was another story. He had black empty sockets. About my age, sitting at the foot of my bed. He extended his hand and in it was a little box. I was startled but reached out. How old? Oh, 10, okay. So maybe kids are different. Kids take this a little bit differently. He pulled back. I reached out again and said, give it. Then I blinked, and when I opened my eyes, he was gone. But the imprint of someone sitting on my bed was present. Fast forward 5 years, so he's 15 now. My girlfriend came over to do homework. After she finished, she took a nap. While she waited for her parents, when they arrived, I tried waking her up. She opened her eyes suddenly, looking up at a corner where the wall met the ceiling. She pointed there and went back to sleep. I shook her again. She came to full consciousness and I explained what she'd done. She said, up on the wall, I saw a little boy with no eyes. He was there in a Spider-Man pose. Oh, damn son. Oh, that's so freaking creepy. Ah, that's so creepy. He was there in a Spider-Man pose staring at me. I freaked out and told her my story about the same kid. Spider-Man pose, it's kind of movie-like though, so you gotta take this with a grain of salt. Mainly because there's a lot of movies where there's like a creepy kid in the corner of a room. So this could be fake, but that's creepy nonetheless. Fast forward another 5 years, so they're 20 years old now. I was with the same girlfriend. Hey, good on you. 5 years in, and we had a 2-year-old. Oh, you have a 2-year-old already? So you got pregnant at 18? Okay, cool. Good for you. We were living in my parents' house in my old room. My daughter started waking up at the same time every night and she would talk. After a while, I noticed she had almost the same conversation every night. I playfully asked her once whom she was talking to. She said, hey, it's a little boy. He's nice. He's lost and looking for his mummy. Wait, hang on. A 2-year-old can't say that much. My daughter's nightly conversation continued until we got our own place later that. So that's the last story. But I don't know. Look, I can't really believe this story, mainly for a few reasons. One is that a 10-year-old seeing a creepy ass boy at the foot of his bed with no eyes, and he didn't freak out and instead demanded the boy give him something. And then the girlfriend saw a creepy ass boy in the corner of the room in the Spider-Man pose with no eyes, and she's creeped out, but she wasn't hysteric. She wasn't going crazy. So that's another. And then his 2-year-old kid saying it's a little boy, he's nice, he's lost and looking for his mommy. That vocabulary is way too high for what a 2-year-old can say. A 2-year-old should be able to say yes, no, maybe, maybe. They can't even say maybe. They're like yay, nay, mama, dada, I want this, I want milk. Some simple ass not a whole sentence like that. So I'm calling bullcrap on this one, but It is a great story. Anyways, I'm gonna leave a link down below to this website, but otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button. If you dislike it, tickle the dislike it button. Leave a comment, tell me if you got freaked out by any of these stories and if I should continue doing these stories, because I normally play games, I guess, so it's a little bit different. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, I generally play a lot of horror games, sometimes read some horror stories as well, so do subscribe to see me freak out and jump scare me and etc, so that you don't have to get scared playing those scary games. Exactly. What am I saying? Anyways, you guys should keep smiling and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!